Howdy everyone, Poacher here with an Age of Magic video, and in today's video we're doing the hero spotlight for Yuki, and let me tell you, I have never had a hero in this game come as close to Yuki in removing Tricky from the number one spot in my favorite hero list. Tricky still number one, Yuki came very close, nearly cutting him from that top spot. And I'm not talking about her abilities, nothing like that. I'm just talking about her appearance and her animations in battle, because I feel like Play could have taken her animations to the next level. You'll get to see it first person anyway. But we'll go over this character, we'll go over stats, we'll go over her abilities, we'll go over the animations, and we'll talk about how you can potentially use this hero. But she's pretty cool. I really like her already, just appearance-wise. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into the video and cover everything you guys need to know. Yuki is the newest character to the Assassin Guild, following Claudia Toxic and Charizard, but let's not talk about Charizard. And she is a tank, and she potentially is a new level of tank in terms of use. Tanks normally get pretty done hard by. Their taunts are normally ineffective. There's normally quite easy ways to get past them. And yeah, I mean, there are good tanks in the game, but I think the approach they've taken with Yuki is a little different, and it's almost force made her good in a sense, but you'll understand when we go over her abilities. And yeah, so she is the tank. She doesn't look like one, but she is. And no, I was going to say she's the first female tank, but that's wrong. We have Diana as well. So sorry, Yuki, you're not the first for that. Anyway, hit points at fully maxed out comes at 6.9 million, speed 227, armor 87k, magic damage resistance 156k, basic magic damage 327k, magic critical hit chance 40%, which is decent for a tank, and magic critical damage 871k. The more in-depth stats are here for you to pause and have a look at your will. Choose whatever you want to see. All the information is there for you. So we'll jump into the arena now, and we'll play around with this character, go over everything, and yeah, just talk about her and how you could potentially use her in the future. Mind you, though, there are still many characters to be released for the Assassin's Guild, so yeah, but they're shaping up pretty nicely so far. So jumping into battle, we have Yuki's basic attack, Hail, triggers the Tank Damager class mark, or the tank mark. Casts hit list on the target. The target on the hit list becomes vulnerable to enemy skills, regardless of restrictions. Hit list ignores Fortitude when cast. Remove upon target death or transfer to another target. If the target on the hit list dies, the skill enters a cooldown for 2 turns. So you see this ability, it's a basic, and you think this has a lot to it. It's not. It's literally just explaining hit list. And hit list is the debuff that is black, that is on the Schnee, which means he can be targeted no matter what. So when we use Yuki's basic on a different target, it will transfer the hit list, or we can continue to attack the Schnee. Performs 3 magic attacks in a row on the target. That's good. That's really good. I'll explain why in a second. For each debuff on allied rogues and assassins, the ability damage is increased by 10%. So the 3 sets of damage it does, it is good in the sense that if there are characters with invulnerability or characters with damage reduction, it's a stackable thing. This will remove one of those stacks every time. So it's a neat way to work around, like, for example, the most obvious one, Azariel invulnerability or immortality, whatever it's called. When a character is taken to fatal HP or taken to death, they receive 8 stacks of invulnerability. They can't be killed for 8 hits. So this would remove 3 of those hits. So it's really neat in that sense. So we'll go ahead and look at the animation. We will go ahead and attack the Cobra Lock, and we will transfer the hit list so you can see it. And yeah, so these animations, I mean, that's pretty cool for a basic attack. There you go, hit list transferred. And like I said, her animations are awesome. It's not the ability that took me away though. But in terms of basic attacks, it's really neat. I like it. Nothing stupidly strong about it. It can potentially do a bit of damage, especially if the damage is being increased by debuffs on allied rogues and assassins. And I love how it incorporates rogues as well. / potential. We may be seeing an assassin team coming back into the game. Assassin teams haven't been relevant since the good old days when we had the Holy Trinity. But this faction may potentially be bringing back an assassin type squad. We don't know yet, but I won't talk any more about it. This basic ability, neat. I like it. Nothing stupidly strong about it. Has its uses and can transfer hit lists. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Moving on to Yuki's second ability, Hoarfrost. I hope it's called Hoarfrost. Would really love that. And it triggers the tank class mark. Deals damage or magic damage to one target. Casts 2 debuffs, increasing damage dealt to that target by 30%. 1 stack is spent each time the target receives damage. If the target is on the hit list, it skips 2 turns. Now, it can obviously be fortified, but we're going to go ahead and look at the animations, and we should be putting this Schnee to sleep for 2 turns. So there we go. Nice ice and asleep for 2 turns. Wonderful ability. Nothing crazy about it. It is going to force a character to skip 2 turns. So it's got good utility. Obviously, with turn skip, it can be removed. So just be aware of that. Other than that, it's... yeah, I mean, it's good because it's such an easily understandable skill. And I cannot stand skills that have Bible lengths of text that have been written in old Latin and are impossible to understand. Goblins, for example. But I digress. There we go. A nice ability. Does pretty standard stuff. And I mean, there's nothing bad about it. A 2-turn skip and forcing the target it hits to take damage, extra damage. Just with how little it does, I just wish that the skip couldn't be fortified. I think if it was targeting the hit list target, it should be a 100%. It's going to land no matter what. That's the only quarrel I have with the ability. Again, not the animation I'm talking about where they've stepped up their whole game. That's coming up. Moving into Yuki's third skill, Parry. I'm going to class it as an ultimate. Yuki receives Parry for 2 turns. The enemy attacking Yuki will deal 100% of the ongoing damage or outgoing damage to self. Seems really strong, but then we read the next part. Damage taken by Yuki is reduced by 95%. So, yeah, that would... If that bit wasn't added, that would be lethal to characters such as Morrigan or Chrome. The potential to just wipe themselves out. But they won't be doing that insane damage because the damage being dealt is very minimal. It's reduced by 95%. So, but it is essentially negating any damage done to her. So, yeah, it's neat. For a tank, she's taking less damage. Yuki restores 35% of her max HP, so she's got self-sustain. Beautiful. I think every tank should have some type of self-sustain, whether it's shielding, whether it's self-healing, whether it's cleansing. They should have some way that they just protect themselves. If, while under parry, Yuki attacks the enemy on the hit list, they will receive additional damage equal to 50% of Yuki's base damage. So, I don't know if it's going to be successful, but it looks like they're trying to build the Assassin's Guild in a sense that they want you to be able to just eliminate targets. You select someone you want to get rid of, and you will get rid of them. That's because anyone with the hit list is taking bonus effects from abilities. So, for example, Yuki is dealing more damage to that character. I forget what Claudia does, but I'm sure there's something. But yeah, but the animation. I can't think of any other animation in the game that does anything like this. I think it's brilliant. I hope they add more to the game. But we'll go ahead and cast the ability on... I don't think it does any damage. No, but we'll go and cast it. We'll select Schnee anyway. Here comes the parry. And there we go. You're probably like, what's so good about it? It's the only buff in the game that I can think of that has a physical... visual effect to it. You know that parry is active. You can see it. You can actually see it. There's no need to click on her to see what buff she has. There's no need to do anything fancy. You're not going to be surprised by anything. I 100% know that Yuki, without even touching her, has parry active. And I think that is such a neat little thing. It's something so small. But I think game-wise, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. She's got a whole new stance. She's got the barrier protecting her. There's ice on the floor. It's won me over. It's won me over. I don't care if she's potentially going to be a useless hero. I don't think she will be, but well done. Well done to the animation team. Give them pay rises. Give them pay rises. They've done a great job. So, The ability itself, let's talk about actual useful things. So yeah, very little damage to Yuki, self-sustain, and can deal a little bit more damage. Now, we've gone over 3 of her abilities, her basic, her 2 specials, and you are probably thinking to yourself, where is the tankiness in her? What is she actually offering to the team that is tanky? She's got no taunts. There's no real reason to attack her. We can bypass her. We can select other targets. She herself doesn't really do much damage either. We'll go into her passive. I don't want to spoil anything until we're actually reading over it. But her passive is designed in a way where you are almost going to be forced, in a sense, to attack Yuki. So we'll jump into it now and we'll go over it. And yeah. Moving on to Yuki's passive Garden of Illusion. Damage taken by other allied assassins and rogues is reduced by 70%. So this is, again, almost forcing her to be a decent tank in the sense that the damage her allies are going to take is massively reduced. And the only way to remove that is by removing Yuki. You need to kill Yuki. Passives do not persist through death. Well, not all of them. I'm sure there's an exception here or there. But yeah, she will be able to reduce the damage her allies take at full HP by a large portion. 70%, a large portion. If an enemy from the hit list attacks other allied assassins or rogues, this enemy will receive damage equal to 80% of damage dealt. So again, forcing that target to attack Yuki. Because if they attack anyone else, they will be receiving damage on themselves. If an allied assassin or rogue was supposed to die, they will heal themselves for 35% of their max HP instead. This skill will only trigger once every 6 turns. So there is an inbuilt safeguard for the first rogue or assassin to die. This does not include herself. So the damage reduction and the self-restore, the 35% HP, does not work on herself, only for allies. So again, really forcing you to decide, are you going to waste time on trying to kill an ally, or are you going to go for Yuki? Like I said, it's almost forcing her to be a good tank. There's nothing that she's not taunting. She doesn't need to taunt. She's protecting her allies in a sense that she can protect one from death, that's for sure. She's giving them huge defensive bonuses, 70% damage reduction. And yeah, but the only person it doesn't protect is her. So do you eliminate her first? Honestly, I can't see it going well for you if you try and take out another target. I'm sure we'll have to see it. We'll see it in battle. There will probably be ways around it, but as of right now, yeah, it's she's just got inbuilt features that make her a good tank. I'm not against it, not at all. I think that tanks definitely need a revamp. There need to be some way that they are just good in general. I'm not saying there aren't good tanks. There definitely are. Lion Go, great. Magnus, still a good tank. But, I mean, can I think of any others off the top of my head that are good? So, yeah, I can understand why they're putting things like this in her kit. Overall, I don't think she's an insanely powerful hero. I mean, her passive alone is very strong, but her other abilities don't really offer a lot. They just offer a bit of sustain, decent damage reduction, and a turn skip, and you can manipulate the hit list as well. So, yeah, there are only 2, like I said, I'm not counting Sharastar, there are only 2 Assassin's Guild characters in the game, so I don't know how this faction is going to play out, but at the moment they are seeming quite strong. But I would like to see some assassin teams, rogue teams built as well, because yeah, we haven't seen a rogue team in a long time, so it'll be very interesting. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will answer it to the best of my ability, and we'll be around the world. Until next time, please take care of yourself. Before I sign off as well, one thing I did want to state is that if you look at Rogaroo, he has a built-in function in his basic attack when he turns into wolf that does ignore damage reduction effects. This does not work for Yuki because it's inbuilt. It's not a buff. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking Rogaroo is going to be a good counter, unfortunately not. So anyway, yep, that's me signing off. Take care. Sign up for the AI Championships.